Let's talk about risk assessments. For most of us, it's just this mountain of paperwork we have to do for compliance. But what if all that effort could be turned into a live shield, something that actually actively prevents incidents from happening? Today, we're going to look at how you can move from just checking boxes to taking real-time control of your safety.
So let's be honest for a second. Does this question hit a little too close to home? I think for so many people, risk assessments feel like this massive undertaking for an audit, and then the final document just sits on a shelf completely disconnected from what's actually happening out on the floor.
And that feeling right there is what leads us into something called the risk assessment trap. It's this super frustrating cycle where, you have all these good intentions and you put in a ton of effort, but it doesn't really lead to a safer workplace. So let's break down exactly why that happens.
I bet these points look pretty familiar, don't they? I mean, these static documents, they're out of date the second they're printed. The controls you list on them are just words on a page. They're not linked to any actual daily tasks. And when an incident does happen, there's no automatic trigger to go back and even look at the assessment again. It all just adds up to that feeling that you're just going through the motions.
And this is the classic example that just sums it all up perfectly. Your paperwork says weekly inspection, but when the auditor asks to see the proof, the actual records, they're just nowhere to be found. It's that huge gap between your intention and the evidence that creates the most risk and, honestly, the most stress. Well, the thing is, regulators totally know about this gap. That's why the legal standard in places like the UK isn't just to have a risk assessment. It has to be suitable and sufficient. And what that really means is it can't be a one-time document. It has to be a continuous loop. You identify, you control, you record, and you constantly review. Your safety system has to be alive. So, how do we break free from that trap and actually build this continuous loop? Well, we have to stop thinking about a library of static documents and start building a live control system. Let's dig into what that actually looks like. The shift in thinking here is, well, it's night and day. On the left, you've got the old way, that static library of disconnected PDFs, which just leads to reactive paper trails and a whole lot of audit stress. But on the right, you have the Safely way, a live system where all your workflows are interconnected. It's all about proactive prevention. And the result? You're not scrambling for audits anymore. You're just audit ready, all the time.
All right, so theory is one thing, but let's see how this actually works in practice. I'm going to walk you through how the Safely platform turns this whole idea of a live control system into a simple, everyday reality for your team.
We're going to follow a really simple 4-step journey. First, we'll digitize the risk assessment. Then, we'll connect it to real-world actions. After that, we'll see how evidence gets captured automatically. And finally, we'll look at how you can gain some really proactive insights. Okay, step 1 is the foundation. So instead of being just another static file, your risk assessment becomes this smart digital object inside of Safely. Every single control is now a piece of data you can assign to a person, you can set a frequency for it, and you can track it. It's not just text anymore, it's actually actionable. And this is where the magic really happens. That weekly inspection control from your risk assessment, it's not just a line of text anymore. Safely automatically creates a recurring task right on your team's calendar. It's now an active job that someone is responsible for, which makes sure it never gets missed.
Now this next step closes the loop, and it solves that audit pain we were talking about. To complete the job, your team member just fills out a simple form, right on their phone. That submission instantly creates a time-stamped record, maybe with photos or signatures. The evidence is captured automatically, just as part of getting the work done.
So what you're left with is this complete, unbroken chain of evidence. You can instantly trace a line from the original risk to the control you put in place to the scheduled task, and then, finally, to the time-stamped proof. It's total traceability, and it's all available at a click. So being compliant and audit-ready is fantastic, right? But what if we could go even further? What if our system could help us see around the corner and spot risks before they turn into incidents?
This is where the system gets truly proactive. Safety's AI, who we call Albert, is constantly analyzing the data from all those completed tasks. It's looking for patterns, like, say, a specific hazard being reported over and over again, or a control that keeps failing inspections. It then automatically flags these hotspots, helping you see risks before they become big problems, and keeping your safety system truly alive.
So, when you bring all of this together, what's the ultimate payoff? Well, it's a fundamental shift, really. A shift from the chaos of managing paperwork to the confidence that comes from actually being in control. The transformation is simple, but it's so powerful. Before, you might have been fighting fires and making excuses. Now you have irrefutable evidence. You've moved from doing reactive paperwork to proactive prevention. And you have full traceability, which means you're prepared for any audit, any day, without all that stress.
And it all comes together in one simple dashboard. With one login, you get a single, clear view of your entire operation. You can see what's been done, what's coming up, and what needs your immediate attention across every single one of your sites. It really is your central command for safety and compliance.
Ultimately, it just comes down to this. Your business is dynamic. It's constantly changing and evolving. So why should your safety system be any different? It's time to move beyond those static documents and embrace a system that's as alive and responsive as the work you do every single day.